Tonight on The Rundown, we tackle a fundamental shift. What happens when AI replaces searching with answering? As synthesized responses begin to feel authoritative, the very idea of objective truth starts to erode, replaced by fluency, personalization, and trust in the interface itself. So tonight we're going to explore the collapse of verification, the rise of answer authority, and what it means for how we understand reality going forward. Join us as we unpack one of the most consequential changes in the digital age. Welcome to The Rundown. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to The Rundown. My name is David, and we are so excited to be with you tonight. We are, as I'm sure you know, we are a production of officehours.global. You can learn more about that at officehours.global. And we have a bunch of people in my office tonight with me. My global office right here, like with Tamara. How are you, Tamara?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good. Who's been on call since 6 o'clock this morning, you said?
6 a.m. was my first meeting.
I mean, I hope it's for good things.
I'm producing a digital audition event where we bring in actors from all over the world in front of a panel of Broadway and off-Broadway casting directors and theater people. And one of the things I do is make sure that if I'm bringing them in there, they have kind of the office hours treatment. I like put them in exactly the same framing. So it actually is amazing because about halfway through the casting director was like, this is very relaxing. And they just don't know why. But the reason why is because
do the people who come to you, do they come with some knowledge of how they should be framed and how they should show up for this type of thing?
Sometimes. I mean, I kind of prep them a little bit because I do a workshop on like all things Zoom, like lighting for Zoom and all of that. So I kind of help them out. And then I meet with every single one of them for 15 minutes. And some of them come with nothing, and others of them have been with me before. So they're like, look what I did since last time. Yeah. But it's great. I really love it.
Very nice. Good to see you. And Mr. Tony Mobley, wait, before I go over to you, Tony, I'm fixing Tamara's. There we go.
I was just going to fix myself, but you did it. Thank you.
Sorry.
I know.
Tony, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Good. How was the show last night? I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. We were back with the I always forget the name of the app. What?
Free Show.
Free Show. We were back with Free Show. Right? They had some big
Free
updates.
Show. Yes, Free Show has major updates. It is definitely worth a watch. If you do anything with any house of worship and you want to do anything as far as presentation, providing scripture, it's just absolutely amazing.
And it's
free. Free.
That's the piece of this I don't understand, but it's fantastic. Amazing.
Well, one of the things that was shared last night, and I'm real quick with this, the creator felt as though this was needed as his particular mission. He was a pro presenter user, and he had an occasion where he was under fire. He had to create something real quick, and Free Show is that product.
Amazing. Very, very cool. Thank you, Tony. And look who it is, everyone. It's our friend Lois. How are you, Lois?
Hello. It's a wonderful week. I have my house back, and 2 days ago I looked out the window and there were 10 hummingbirds at the feeder, 8 sitting around and 2 more trying to find an open spot.
There you go.
So nice to be in spring.
That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you. And Dave, is it springy by you?
It is, except it just started snowing today.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to have a weekend of snow, and we're going to about some areas will get 10 centimeters, which for you guys is about 6 inches. And up here, we're only going to get about an inch. But yeah, it's depressing.
It's May.
We had 20 degrees 3 days ago. That's like 80 year temperature.
Wow.
So that's, everything is melted away. Totally green grass coming up. The rabbits are brown. They're not white. And look what happens. So Yes, our fourth winter has just started, and it'll be over by Sunday night. So.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Sky, how are you in the comfy library of the church? I believe.
I'm attempting my Wes Anderson look, seeing if I can get everything very gridded up here.
You look beautiful.
I'm still pondering. The rabbits are not
brown.
white.
They're not white.
Brown. I thought that's the weather thing. I mean, we had robins show up, so spring has sprung in the Pacific Northwest, and again, the miracle of sunshine
Northwest.
does
I love
exist.
that. I'd never heard that before.
Oh, welcome to my universe. Yes,
I love that. That's great. Good to have you here, Sky. Thanks.
Good to be had.
And look who it is, my friends. Leo Mindell. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Now, where in the world is Leo Mindell? Because I know that you are coming stateside.
Yeah, so a few hours ago, I was in the middle of the UK in Birmingham at the Ecamm Creator Camp, and I am flying out to San Francisco it is already the morning because it's 2:00 here, but I'm flying out about 11 o'clock this morning, or this coming morning.
The excuse that Leo gave me to be on the show was I need to get on America time anyway. I need to get on San Francisco time anyway.
Yeah.
So
you're absolutely right. I've been awake since 7 o'clock this morning, and I'm thinking if I just power through, I can sleep on the aeroplane.
Well, there you go.
That seems to be the way.
I'm happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm on my way over.
Good to see you here. There is too much news. Let's jump into it. So my problem is that early on in the creation of this show, we had more news items, and then we kept cutting back on them because we wanted more time to discuss the new topic. But this week, there was so much going on, and I'm going to make a solemn oath to Dave Troutman right now. We will spend about 10 seconds on this first news item, I promise. It's been talked about ad infinitum, but it's worth mentioning. Tim Cook is out. Tim Cook, he's not out. That made it sound like they fired him. He's leaving at the end of September, I believe they said. He's going to become the chief executive, Apple executive chairman, and John Turnus, who's been there for 25 years, is going to become the Apple CEO. My only question is not even about these two characters, but I'm curious what you think the next CEO needs to bring to the table.
I'm just laughing because there's a countdown going on in the chat here.
Busted.
Can I have five more? Can you? No, see, if I say that, he's
We'll reset the clock here.
That's
John is doing it.
Oh my God. Real quick, I'm just curious. And one person, maybe two people. What does Apple need next in a CEO? What do you think, John?
Continuation. Just keep going. They're doing fine.
Well, I don't think it's that simple. What's the strength that they need to bring? Tim Cook, Steve Jobs was the visionary. Tim Cook was the systems guy. He was the guy who got the things created, who understood the systems and made them work. That's why it's a $1 trillion company now. What does the next guy have to bring? Is it more innovation? Is it more on the software side because of AI? What do you think?
I'll start. The guy who doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah. He has to make sure it doesn't break. That's all he has to do.
Yeah.
He's from product and he's from design. So he'll have some knowledge in that area. And as long as he can tell those people not to break it, I think they'll carry on for another 15.
I'm going to go with Henry Ford's great-grandson that said, if we are thinking we are an automobile company, as he's talking to all the stockholders, he said, we will die. If we understand that we are in the transportation industry, then we have a future. And I think we've seen that happen with Microsoft, with Apple, with Ford itself. If they understand that things are going to change and you cannot live inside, nothing lasts forever. And I've seen the iterative processes in Apple when they moved from operating system 9 to operating system 10. It was horrible. everybody hated it, but you had to go to the next level. And again, think about, the things that go around come around, and after 20 years, new ideas, new insights, but with the foundation of having been inside a company that long, versus bringing in somebody from Pepsi, which was done for about a minute in Apple's history. And what was the concept there?
Not a good call.
Steve was just trying. Yeah, but think of the issue at the time was we need an adult in the conversation. So consequently, they brought somebody in that was good at selling stuff, but wasn't good at technology. So this might be a good marriage. And Starbucks is moving to Nashville. So I'm all hell is going to in a handbasket now. So,
so if the new fellow is open to finding other companies, and Apple buys things up, and incorporating that into the system, and as long as you're open to new stuff and you don't break anything, I think he's going to do fine.
Oh, I think he's going to do fine. Also, I hope that he, my gut about Apple is that they have always been at the forefront of hardware and always been on the tail end of software.
But their systems and their people are great.
There it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope he's able to see both ends of that. The next story I want to share is, God, this just blew my mind.
I'm so excited about this.
Incredibly fascinating. So earlier this week, it was announced something called TED Institute. Now, it's not a real thing yet, apparently. There's not even much to say about it, I think. They said, I think in 6 months, they're going to start actually talking about it or something like that. But I already signed up for it, of course.
I did too.
Yeah. I think what this is reimagining university as free, universal. I mean, that is so radical to me. Khan Academy, it's interesting. Khan Academy, I think, certainly didn't set out to reinvent education. And it hasn't, although it has changed the way a lot of people learn. Education is still a brick and mortar business by and large. But Khan Academy has certainly contributed to the growth of thinking differently. Now, I don't know, this just, I've got one kid out of college, one kid in college, one kid going to college. And the idea of having something free and universally available that's really high quality is fascinating to me.
Please make sure you define what is TED. A lot of the inside baseball language is we know what this means. Technology, entertainment, and design.
It's not education.
It was originally a gathering of those three disciplines and of cross-pollination in a big room at a conference. And then it became a website, and then it became a YouTube thing, and then as people wanted this knowledge. So the insight, I believe, is this is what Wikipedia is for knowledge base. It's communal, it's real time, it's people that actually know, not just academics. So this could be amazing opportunity.
Forgive me, by the way, it's not free. I apologize.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not.
I think it's
how can the full degree
venture.
cost $10,000? We're designing this institution to be high quality at low marginal cost. By leveraging the unique strengths of all three partner institutions, we aim to dramatically reduce the cost of delivering a high quality. It's not accredited yet. It is
accredited by whom? Bill Gates goes to the web and learns more about stuff than.
So it's also ETS, and ETS is the people who do the GRE, and I think, and like a million other educational things. So it's a really interesting combination, right? Because TED Talks were interesting on their own, and I'm still trying to decide what my TED Talk would be, but I know I need one. But like they're very interesting. And Khan Academy was interesting on its own. But when Khan Academy paired with the College Board to do like the SAT prep, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Because kids in the 10th grade take the PSAT. It goes into their account on the College Board, which pairs with Khan Academy, and it'll basically go through your test and say, you know what, you understood all of these things, so I'm going to help you target what to study for. That is groundbreaking. I mean, taking the PSAT going, oh gosh, I got this score, but how am I going to get it better? And then starting at the top
Exactly.
and studying everything was like how we did it for years. And this is targeting, it's using your information to target. So the combination of these three entities, where you've got kind of a tried and true education company mixed with a testing company, mixed with people who've had innovative thinking about how to just teach more direct, and then these thought leaders having conversations, is a really interesting trio to be doing this. I was really excited when I saw it.
The two pieces of this that I'm most excited about, one is how it's being designed with business leaders and entrepreneurs contributing to the process, meaning that the work, the study can truly be focused on helping you get a job, whereas most universities today don't really think about that and don't help you get there. The second thing that's exciting to me about this is that it's competency based, which means they're not interested in logging hours. They're interested in, have you mastered the topic? Have you mastered the subject?
Right.
This could be incredibly disruptive, and I hope it is.
When you signed up, David, did you sign up as a student or as someone who wanted to be a teacher?
No, I signed up as a student.
I did both.
Yeah. No, I would.
I'm fascinated by this.
I would take classes. So you can sign up as, here, it's a full name of a interested prospective did I do student? Oh, no, you know what? I think I did educator academic, I think what I did. I think I did that. You can be prospective student, philanthropist, donor, corporate employee, partner, educator, academic, media press, or other. I think I did educator.
I did media press. And if you want to see the value, go look up the last lecture. If you've not heard or listened
it
to
is so
that,
good.
I knew him.
So good.
This will give the value of what this experience is going to be for the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And finally, boy.
Do you think that this will be accepted?
Oh, you mean
once it's accredited, it will be, yes.
Yeah, once it's accredited.
Well, being accredited, being accepted is, I think, different than being, I mean, yes, there are lots of places that are accredited.
You can't be accepted if you're not accredited. Then
well,
you're
but
just,
people still make
Phoenix,
fun of places that are accredited because they're still not seen as serious institutions.
I mean, if you go there and you get a degree, is someone who's going to hire you, going
It's
to
going
say, oh, that's
fire you next week because your degree doesn't matter to their bottom line.
Yeah. There he is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I disappeared for a second.
What's Image 2.0?
Okay. OpenAI has had a very busy week. It started, I put this in as Image 2.0, but just today, I think they dropped 5.5, ChatGPT 5.5, which I only had time to put one prompt into it, so I can't tell you if it's any better, but they're saying that I watched a video about comparing this to Claude, and that this gets things much, much quicker. So the cost is higher, but because it is able to complete work more quickly, more efficiently, it actually will end up costing less, significantly less, they're saying. ChatGPT Images 2.0, they are now saying, is the new standard for image generation. When I needed to create an image, I would almost always go to Gemini. I thought that was the best one to do. Now with ChatGPT Images, again, I only had a couple minutes to try this, but they're saying that the text is crisp and correct and clear. You have a lot more precision in what you're doing.
I'm
It's
most
good.
impressed by the fact that it can remember things and keep a character. Like you can You
Right.
repeat an image and take an image to the next phase, and you don't have to redo the characters. They're going to be consistent as
Right.
soon as you assign them. And I think that's an innovation right there, because that's been a problem since the beginning of trying to create the same look and feel of something. And they've got it. They've got it where you can do, I don't know, anime, you can do posters, and you can have repeat images of a person wearing different clothing, so you don't have to draw the guy every time. I mean, it's really, really something they've done there.
It's really good. I have been working on a logo for a new company that I'm transitioning my stuff into. And I like hired a company and they send me these things and I'm like, wow, they just totally got this wrong. I put the samples into like all of them and said, okay, give me some of your thoughts. Didn't agree with all of their thoughts, but chat, I said, they said, would you like me to draw you what you're talking about? And I was like, yeah, just do that. It was so perfect. It was like, and I was able, exactly what you said, I was able to make a change to it and it drew the same thing with those changes. I was very impressed because what I got out of the other two was not anything close to this. This was completely different than anything I've seen come out of chat before.
This is from the launch video, this image. So it told it to create an image of rice, and on 1 grain of rice to write GPT image 2. Now, you can't see it here clearly, but that's only because of my screen. On the actual image, it's like, it's an actual, it's I don't know, I don't want to say it's actual, but it's 1 grain of rice in here, and it said, write this on 1 grain of rice, and it did. It really is pretty amazing. The first thing I thought of, one of the things that they touted, by the way, was photorealism. And my first thought when they were talking about that was, oh, here we go with the fake. And this is going to come in today to our discussion. But the better these get at photorealism, the more likely it is to have fake stuff out there. Multiple language support. Look at this. You put 1 prompt in and it'll create an entire manga. In any case, we got this. We got GPT 5.5. A lot of updates this week from ChatGPT, not just from OpenAI, but from other places also. But really, this to me is one of the most exciting things. I'm really looking forward to playing with it more.
So in the Claude design also came out on Friday?
Yes.
Are we not talking about that?
Claude design is very interesting. Also, I was particularly who are, kind of yutzes when it comes to design and can only use tools like Canva. Having those two integrated, I thought was really interesting, especially given that Canva just had their huge event announcing all, their new AI garbage. Sorry. That's what I
see. Historically, Tamara and I would go to Las Vegas this week at National Association of Broadcast, or NAB. You would
Tamara
not go,
doesn't go. Tamara does not go to Vegas.
Tamara does not go to Vegas.
Sorry. Okay. Well,
been
anyway,
a couple of times.
this person of that industry would have gone to the National Association of Broadcasters, the NAB, huge conventions, and the people that have been going for 30 years. This is like my first time I haven't gone for 30 years, are coming back, and everybody's just kind of shaking their heads and deer in headlights of what is going on, because the universe has now been opened up to the world. So the engineers that were the gatekeepers to communications and design and devices, everybody now has the tools if they want to buy the tokens. And I remember the beginning of COVID, and this is how all of us met. The world was kind of flat and nobody knew what was going on. I kind of feel we're in that same universe that everybody's trying to figure it out quickly. And I see Dave Troutman shaking his head. So that gives me reassurance that I'm smelling something that's not completely off topic here. And we are in a unique time in history, which is great. I heard the other day that Jerry Seinfeld said a joke is the combination, or what is it? Tamara, help me.
Oh, no.
Tragedy plus time. That's the definition of a joke.
Yeah,
So
I've actually
consequently,
heard that.
Yeah.
if we are in the middle of a tragedy, that means there's opportunity for a good joke to be right around the corner.
I think some of it is that we are having a crisis for knowledge
There we go.
workers.
There we go.
And we've seen this crisis in the past with blue collar workers, right? And so now it's happening to the rest of us. And we're like, what's going on? There's definitely a giant shift happening. And I think that it isn't going to be really, it's going to be a combination of people who understand the technology paired with institutional knowledge of wherever they're working, because you can't use the technology without having institutional knowledge of the people who use it and who are your clients, who are your customer base, and who are your colleagues, and how that works. Those are the people who are going to kind of hang on. And there's going to be a lot of people who are looking for other work. That's why I think the Khan Academy thing is interesting, because I think universities are shifting dramatically, where kids now are like, I'm not going to spend money on that. And I think that is an interesting and innovative way. But we're seeing a shift that's happening, and we're going, wow, this is horrible. This has happened in history, and it's been horrible for other people. It's now horrible for a mass of people who were told, if you go to school and you learn this thing and you get a degree, you are going to be set for life. And now people are either starting their careers not set at all, or middle or end of their careers, or the last third of their careers, finding that they're not employable.
You know, you just made me think about something else, about the Khan Academy thing, or the Khan TED thing. So my youngest daughter is now in the process of taking the SATs and applying to colleges. And Brody is saying he lost audio. Did we lose audio on YouTube? I don't think we did. In any case, we're spending...
They said no audio.
They said no audio.
A second person said no audio.
No audio. Well, where'd the audio go? I don't know. I mean, I didn't change anything. Hello,
I can hear it.
You can hear it?
So come on over to Makana, and see if you can hear it there.
I can hear it on YouTube.
We are taking a technical break, everybody, to see if we actually have...
But Leo can
I was
hear us.
just checking the YouTube feed directly, and it works just fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
may
works.
not work on Makana, but I haven't checked Makana.
So it's just a couple people. Okay. Refresh, everyone. Refresh.
Yeah. Refresh.
So we are spending a lot of money on SAT prep, and but here's the thing: we're not necessarily doing it because we feel that the education that she'll get there is top notch. We're doing it also because the experience of going to university or college is really important, and that's going to be a flaw in this TED thing, because I guess maybe it'll just be something you do from home, or maybe if they're smart, they'll set up sort of like a WeWork type of thing where kids can come together, at least share space when they're learning. But that experience piece is going to be really important.
That experience in university is also shifted. My nephew went away to university, and he ended up coming home after the first semester. He's like, we're paying for me to be on online classes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally moved into a dorm. We're paying for that. And they just decided as a family, they're like, you know what? He had already started a business. They're like, go ahead and take a gap year. Right. My nephew coming up, he's graduating this year, and he decided, he's like, I'm going to go to, the feeder junior college into the university that I want to go to. I'm not going to spend the first 2 years in that. I'm going to work and save money or go and live in the area. So I think kids are having wildly different decisions. My niece is coming up. She'll graduate next year, and she's touring colleges and looking for soccer scholarships and all of that. So it's wildly different experiences from 3 different kids who are coming into this and talking to their friends. It's just very different now. So I think that we're in a transition time.
And historically, you're go ahead.
I would say we're always in a transition time.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't historic. If you go back any sort of length of time, going to university didn't exist for the masses 60, 70 years ago. And in fact, if you go even further back, it was a vast minority that went to university. We've just made it big at the moment. And like anything else that you make big, it contracts again. And so I think you'll find that universities go back to just being for certain specialist areas, and that the masses will do something else. That's not a bad thing. It's just,
but it is kind of unfortunate.
I think one of the things, what I look at it like cars. The fact is that you take someone like where you live, Tamara, which is LA, and it's chocker full of cars, but it's only been chocker full of cars for 100. They haven't been around for more than 100 and something years, and in 100 years' time, there probably won't be any. It's just we see it as the natural, normal now, but over a larger scale, you'll not. It will be just an anomaly that happened for a short period of time.
One of the differences, though, is that if you go back in history to when not everybody went to university, they had other social structures in place to where people were creating meaning together. They did that at church. They did that in, youth groups, in family settings, at bowling league, whatever that was. Dance halls, where we didn't need things. We had other things that supported that. And universities, Tony and I have talked about this, but I can speak for myself. I really came alive when I went to college. I did not feel like I fit anywhere. Obviously I started theater when I was 15, so I fit there, but I didn't feel like academically like I fit anywhere. And when I went to university, just the experience was so helpful. And I didn't go to, the top of the school or anything like that. I went to the perfect school for me, and it was life-changing for me. So I think that experience is really important. But one of the problems that we have is that we don't have any other, we're chipping away at those social places where people can go to learn some of the things that you learn in a dorm room and in university.
Can I make a suggestion?
And that's the difference.
I'd like to suggest this is a whole topic.
It's a whole show.
Higher education. Let's put a pin in this now, and let's make it a full topic, because it's absolutely worth the conversation. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. But of course, what we're talking about tonight is entirely related to this. Subjectivity, objectivity, the idea that who do we trust anymore? So I want to start with a question, and I put this to all of you. If you go to Claude or Chat or Gemini or Perplexity, wherever you go, and it gives you a clear, confident answer that you don't verify, do you consider that knowledge or just a well-presented belief? Do you take AI
at face value?
I'll take that one first. AI is the best sorting machine we've ever made. It allows it to find the next possible or most advantageous word, and it makes it sound like this is the authoritative voice. It doesn't like being wrong. It has learned to avoid that because the LLM includes information that says, this is what you do when someone accuses you of not knowing what you're talking about. And this is all over the internet. It's people saying, no, I'm not wrong. And then it adapts that as a human behavior it should adopt. I don't take it to be anything that does knowledge. It makes no new knowledge that I've heard of. It can create great pictures, and it's getting better at it all the time as we're talking about it. But I'm not seeing it create something that I need. So I can see it being a project manager, because those kind of things aren't new knowledge. It's organizing, and it's a sorting machine. So organizing is a natural offshoot of that. But I'm really taken by the idea that it gives you information, but it does not give you knowledge, because that takes a human being to associate all the different information it's getting and put it into knowledge. And then after a lot of practice, it becomes wisdom. So I don't see any evidence so far that new knowledge is coming out of this. Lots of data and lots of management of information, but no new knowledge.
Let me go to Lois and then Leo.
Well, I think that the question was about is it authoritative? It certainly sounds that way. And I don't use these things the way that some of you do. I'm not writing books. I'm not making, programs. So if I want information from it, I'll be very careful in what I ask. And then I will ask it to tell me where it got the information. And then, because I'm me, I will probably go and check randomly a couple of those sources and see if it was correct. And so once I've done some verification, then I'll accept it as being, true.
I think with everything we ever do in the world and historically, the question of what is knowledge and what is true, I grew up, most of us on this call grew up with the fact that we were not allowed to go swimming in a swimming pool if we had eaten within 4 hours, because that was the fact. You were not allowed to swim because you were going to die.
That was the truth.
From
Yes.
stomach cramps. That was the truth. That was the truth. And it is, and there are so many examples of this. And I think the one thing I think with AI, yeah, and one thing I think with AI really is that the speed that it is finding things, that the fact is we're not, I don't think the AI we have these days is even out of diapers in its real world. It's still there.
I think of it as a caterpillar yet to be a butterfly.
Yeah, and I think the point but where I disagree with Dave, absolutely disagree, is that AI is finding knowledge that we didn't understand. And that is something, it is being able to put 2 and 2 together in a way that we just haven't been able to see at the moment. And so actually it's enabling us to understand things that maybe we were never able to understand in the past, or have lost the knowledge of how those things work. And I think that's where it's going to be so powerful. But it does need it like it does with any other toddler, you need to sort of make sure that it's got the right what it's telling you understand.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I have had enough experience with it hallucinating that I verify. I think that there is the potential, like Leo said, for it to pull things together to create something new. I think that there are parts of it that are actually doing some thinking, and there are versions of it that do think. But even with that, I would still verify. That's just the camp that I'm in.
Tamara,
the root word of authority.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Tamara and Scott, go ahead.
Mine is similar to Tony's, but I think that the problem isn't AI. The problem is that AI, like everything else, is driven by people who are curious learners and who are driven through curiosity, and people who need an answer quickly. And so there are some times when I use it where I just need an answer quickly, and I don't really care if it's hallucinating it, because it may not even be a context that matters. If I'm looking for something real, then I am going to verify. I'm going to look at the links that it gives me. And what I love about it is exactly what Dave said, which is it cuts through the nonsense, because I'm a curious learner. So if I go to Google, I'm going to spend 9 hours there on the same thing that I ask it. And what I can do in ChatGPT or any of them is I can go, hey, please do the research on this and get me to a narrower space. Now, we had that in the olden times of like the late 90s when we had Google. When you went to Google, like 4 things came up. It wasn't 1 billion answers came up, but there are people who use Google, and whatever the first answer is, that's their answer, and that's how they are, and that's how they're using ChatGPT. And then there are people like Tony and people like me who are researchers, and I'm not going to take, if it's an important question, I'm not going to take what ChatGPT, I'm going to be like, that's nice, that's interesting, let me go find out more. But it's going to parse through a whole lot of stuff to get me to something usable that isn't 40 billion entries.
So,
Sky, go for it.
The questions and how to ask better questions. Yes, that was the toddler stage. Now we are at the personal assistant opportunity and the access. I'm in the library. This is where knowledge used to live, inside covered books, and you had to go to that thing. Now, with the advent of the mobile device and the lowering of the price, the lowering of the barrier to entry, the access of that knowledge is now universal, even to the point of the conversation we were having earlier about the walled knowledge base of higher education. So this is my belief is we are in a land of access, and that's where Tony has always said everybody should have it, but humanity still doesn't believe that they are permitted it or they should do this. And so this is where I'm fascinated where this conversation is going to go about where the next level up in asking better questions now that we all have personal digital assistants with unlimited knowledge.
But it's not universal. It's not universal because it's limited by the user's ability to access it. And that's the key that we keep, like Google was going to give us everything. It was going to give us the world. Instead, it gave us our Google Cloud. What you look at is what you get. And it continues to be an algorithm. And now everything we do is driven by algorithms. So when we say it's universal and now everyone can access it, the truth of the matter is lots of people can't access it. And I'm not talking about smart versus not smart. I'm talking about a lot of smart people cannot access it. They don't understand the kinds of questions they should ask it or how they should respond to the information. And the more that we are lacking critical thinking
from the academic walled education versus the attitude of whether you want to choose to join or not. That's two different conversations, isn't it?
It's two different conversations, but you have people who can't access, who are, the difference is you used to have knowledge,
not to.
But here's the thing, you used to have knowledge that was accessible only to smart people. Like only people who could read could access books. Only people who could had access to professors or teachers or mentors could access that information. Now everyone can access that information, but not everyone has the skills and knowledge to be able to do that. And so I think we have to continue to understand that, and also that don't want to, right? But I think that it's the more that we say, oh, it's universal, it's accessible to everybody. It's not accessible to everybody. That's why some people use it as God. They put it in and they go, whatever it says is right.
I've tasted Swiss chocolate and I've tasted M&M's Pennsylvania chocolate. There's a huge difference in quality, but M&M's, they sell a lot of peanuts.
Dave, do you want to jump in?
No,
Leo
I'll defer to Leo here. Right. Leo he's been doing the sign.
No, it's all right. I'm trying to get in because I've spent the last, it's about 8 weeks since I've been on, and I've been shouting at the computer for 8 weeks to answer some of these questions. 8 weeks.
That's what that buzzing noise was.
It is.
We for sure deferred to you.
But so Tamara has hit some really important points here, and it's really the fact was that Google used to give you pages and pages of answers, and now you are given what almost feels like a gold-plated, here is the one and only answer, and that is a problem. Reality is, if we actually look at it, is Google used to give you the answers that it got paid in for, either directly or indirectly through search engine optimization, to give you the answers. But nobody realized that as much as what you're seeing now. And the problem with that single answer is that you lose that discussion mechanism, that is this right or is that right? Because you're presented with one thing, and when you're presented with one thing, and without going, but I'm going to go down that road.
Yeah.
When you go down that road, you're going down a religious discussion. And that's the problem. When you are presented a single answer to a problem, which is what religion does in a lot of cases, it makes it to say, you either believe this answer I'm giving you, or you don't you haven't drunk the Kool-Aid that you're supposed to. And that is a real fundamental problem. And that is why there is so much that we're seeing coming through this at the moment, where there's no barriers, there's no control, there's no actual ensuring that what we're actually seeing is right. And some of it is really, really right. And some of it is like, wow, where did it get there? How did it get there? And why is that one solution being presented, and we end up with real conflict because of that?
Yeah, I have trouble with the word authority, and that, author is the root word of authority, and I don't believe AI is authoring anything, so it doesn't get any authority from me. And I think you're right. It becomes a real thing when you don't have the alternative offered to you. And as you say, with the choices we had behind Sky, I could go to one book and the next author and take their different opinions into account. That's what they call education. And higher education is meant for you to read a lot of stuff and come to your own conclusions and present them in a reasonably good and well thought out manner. And I'm just going to go back a half second here for Tamara's college experience, because you're a blip. We've never been so wealthy enough to send a kid to college as much as they've had in the last 40, 50 years. So those kids had an experience that is unique, and you're not going to find that experience anymore. I know from having worked at the university, it's not the same fun place to be. And as that person reported, you're on screen most of the time, but screen is the future. Screen is where everything's happening. Screen is what we're all in right now. And we think everything we want to know is going to come at us from screen. And the trouble is there's 4 other senses we have that go past your eyes and give you reality. It's what we're wired to interpret. We don't know what reality is because it's out there, outside of us. But we have senses that tell us, the smell tells me there's an animal nearby. My hearing is telling me there's birds running away. And now I know I'm in trouble. And so I must act on it. And my fingers say go. But all of that is acquired knowledge, and it didn't have any book for it. So, I had a good friend who was a Bedouin out of Somalia, and he remembered every single thing because he said, I was taught you can't take books on a camel. So we have to learn everything and remember it today. And he could keep a conversation for months and quote it back to me verbatim. So for me, the capacity is diminishing. We're all afraid of what's happening when AI presents itself as the authority, and therein lies our job as a responsible human to question authority. I was taught by my dad to question authority at every turn. Not every policeman has the authority to take you off the road. And I've used that my whole life. My wife hates it, but I will challenge an authority no matter who they are and have fun with it most times.
I just want to throw out here that
I'm sitting between these two. It feels so good right here. I'm just so snuggy.
I just want to throw out here that you were talking about knowledge and what we know and how we come to know things. For me, this question is more about belief. It's interesting that we mentioned
absolutely,
yes,
yeah.
Truth and belief are the parallel. Yes,
right?
There it is.
Believe
there it is. Is it the truth? Yeah.
Is it subjective or objective? Is AI capable of being? It certainly seems like it's capable of being objective, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Unless you believe it will. I mean, that's the thing. Do you really apply the critical thinking to what you're getting from the system? Well, the system is it sounds authoritative. Look, I do that all the time. I convince people of things that aren't true all the time. And advertising does that too.
Yeah, but anything that thinks it is authoritative doesn't want to be objective.
Well, let's say that again.
If you think of people who demand that they are authoritative, they very rarely want to ever be objective. And I think when you think that's how the systems work.
Yeah. Well, what is normalized, what is normal, and that's my point about the M&M, chocolate M&Ms from Pennsylvania. If that's all you've ever known, you don't know what cacao tastes like from near the equator. There's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until I had right off the tree, a cacao bean is like, oh my goodness. And to find out that it's actually healthy for you.
Yeah.
What?
Lois,
Without all the processed other stuff.
So let's think a little bit about our discussion today and the topic that we're going on. Leo was saying that you get an answer and that's it, that's all, you got to believe it or else I think the problem is a little bit the other way, is that I get an answer, very confident answer, and you get a different very confident answer, and we no longer have the shared foundation of what we are talking about. So that if Dave, jump in here, if I can't believe that you understand 2 and 2 is 4, how are we gonna communicate? How are we gonna talk?
This is why we say kids in kindergarten before they go to school is they have to learn that other people have ideas, and other people have ideas you've never heard of or that you think are really angry or not good or whatever. And I'm all for it. Yes, more community contact, more people contact, absolutely. Then you get to know that there's diversity of opinion, and AI is just one opinion.
Tony,
the irony, of course, is.
But
I'm
I was going to say, have we replaced? Sorry,
I'm
Tony.
Tony, I'm struggling, and part of the reason that I'm struggling is because I'm hearing everything that we're talking about, and I'm looking at it from the standpoint of there being a pyramid, and we're at the top of the pyramid, and we're having this discussion, and we are really hammering it home in terms of the diversity of what it means to have authoritative conversations and interaction with our AI. And on the next level, which is a wider part of the pyramid, there is some discussion about it. And then at the bottom, there is no discussion about it. There's no concern or care. And that there are people who are, whatever that first answer is on that Google search, that's the gospel. And they're just going to go with it. And then on the middle level, well, maybe there's some conversation about it. But the people at the very top, that's where the conversation, the dialogue, and the wrestling with the issue and really trying to promote what is real and what is not, and the value of it being authoritative, and does it do thinking? The majority of people don't care.
And that's not different, right? And that's why I'm cautioning when we say things are universal. The pyramid is still the same now with university education. And that's the part where it's like, those of us at the top, we want to share it with everybody and get everybody excited about it and have deep conversations. But Tony's right. There's a lot of people who don't care at all. And then there's other people who just take whatever it says as the truth. And that's not different than what we have now. And so it's not as universal and not as accessible as we say it is. We look at kids who've grown up with the iPhone as their main form of technology, and we go, these are digital natives. You know what they can't do? In my young people, they can't do a multitude of computer tasks, a multitude of technological things, because they've had one technology. They did not switch technologies and be at the cusp of things. So when I talk to them about AI or I talk to them about digital events, they are like, I am so uninterested in that because it is foreign to them. They can't even see that there's a possibility of a future, because why would they do this?
I absolutely agree with that, Tamra. The fact is, the people in my life that are younger generations, they don't want to do any of this stuff because it's not, they want to do short form content on a vertical phone because that's all they're interested in. And as far as they're concerned, everything we did was coming from the Stone Age. But I also say that this isn't dissimilar to other industries. If you take something like a plumber, hopefully that translates in the. Please
Sure,
tell me if
take
I'm
a
using
plumber.
the words that
Let's
don't.
start there. Yes.
Absolutely. At the top of the pyramid that Tony explained really well, the plumber knows everything. The rest of us are going, just fix my water. I don't care. I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me about it. Is it right? Yes. You don't actually know if what he did was good or bad because the majority of us are not interested in learning that. Not because we can't. It's
Not a
not,
priority.
we've got other things. But the problem with this one is we're talking about knowledge and we're talking about information and we are talking about things which are quite dangerous. We look at how AI and other areas can be manipulated to give examples of what's happening in the world that may not be exactly what is actually happening. And it's being passed. So that from that pyramid that you talked about earlier, the pyramid at the top there, people questioning it, and at the bottom, people are going, well, it's there. It's true. Google told me it's the truth. And they've been used to Google telling them the truth for long enough that they're now going, why question it? Why question it?
It's the same thing with a lie. If you say it enough, you continue to say the lie over and over and over again, then it begins to be the truth for some people.
You know, that chocolate on my face, I didn't eat the cake. Sorry. That chocolate came from somewhere. I don't know what. We learned to lie really early. Like, I am not going to admit that you caught me. No.
And this is the thing that's designed to tell us what we want to hear.
Yes,
that's designed to, if you want it to tell you, if you want it to treat you a certain way, it will.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of what you put into it.
And different people are getting told different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the world, and you think that that's the world, and we're looking totally different directions. So how are we ever going to function as a society?
I think,
is society dead?
I think no. I think society is lazy.
That's a topic.
I think society is lazy. We have gotten incredibly, even when you think about news, that in America, we used to watch Walter Cronkite, and we trusted him. No one doubted him. Now you've got Fox and CNN and MS Now and this and that and all these, and no one trusts anyone, frankly. I mean, you trust the people who say what you want to hear, but you're not actually trusting them as news people. You're trusting them as commentators. And so I maybe I'm going to embarrass myself, but by asking this question, but I want to ask you a sanity check. Reality check. I know that, I don't remember who it was. I think Tony said, I check everything that AI tells me. Really? Because I don't. But on certain things I do, right? It really depends on the level. Like, there's lots of questions I ask that it really doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
Like, it's, it's a factual thing you're looking up. Yeah.
Right. It's a factual thing I'm looking up. And if it wasn't right, like, I'm not quoting that anywhere. I'm probably not basing any real life beliefs on it. It's like, where does the walnut start? Like, do I really care? Like, that doesn't really change my life,
the squirrels
right?
Myself. Yes.
So if I'm asking that, it's very different than if I'm asking a health question or I'm asking something that really has consequence. And so I don't look up the things that are, trivia. I may type them in just like I typed them into Google and be like, here's the answer. No, it really doesn't matter if it's wrong. It just doesn't matter. Someone else will point out, hey,
derivative trading,
right? Yeah, like but if it's something important, then I do. And I imagine you're similar in that regard. You don't look up everything, but then the things that are important to you, you're like, give me the links, show me where that comes from.
And I'll just say that at least in my head, I have convinced myself that while AI can be subjective in the sense that it tells itself lies, right? It doesn't find objective truths, that I've also told myself that AI has access to more information than any one person that I could ask, or than any one website that I could research on. And so doesn't that earn a little trust? The fact that it has
Can I give you an
access-
example?
Yeah, please.
Can I give you an example?
Please.
Okay, so yesterday I had Gary B. Jr. on Conversation with Tony Mobley, and he is an evangelist for the free show presentation software, competition against Pro Presenter, right? And so I am updating the free show application on my laptop. And so yesterday I also switched from ChatGPT to Claude. So I asked Claude, I said, give me the latest update for free show, right? And I'm in the application and I'm looking at it. The reason that I asked the question was because I was having trouble installing it. And it was showing me that the latest update is 1.6.0. So when I asked Claude that question, and I asked it, what is the latest update for free show? It said 1.3.2. And I said, I'm looking at it. I see it's 1.60. And so I said, that information is incorrect. And so then I asked it again. Oh, I'm sorry. As of April 17th, the latest release was 1.60. And so I'm like, it just reaffirmed for me the reason why you have to verify. And I have tons and tons of examples, David, that I have experienced where I have asked AI a question and I happen to know that the answer is wrong that it gave me.
Right. I've had that experience also. And then Sky, I'm going to come over to you. My sense, Tony, is that at least in my experience, that happens much more with current events or releases, current things that have happened in the past 10 minutes. If I'm looking at if I'm asking about historical info, just before we came on, I'm doing research right now on elementary language arts education. And about the phonics and reading and comprehension, all those different things. And so I asked it, I said, create a whole report for me. I gave it a prompt. I did whatever it's called, the research version. And it gave me a really thorough report with research. Now, I'm going to check the first two sources, the first two citations. After that, I'm going to pretty much trust it because I'm not asking it what happened yesterday. I'm asking it historically. And that's what it's really good at. That's it. So I don't know. My reality check was just, I think that a lot of us say that we check these things more than we actually do.
How do you know it's thorough?
I just want to say that I have asked some biblical questions and I did not get a correct answer.
Wrong.
So
right.
that's historical.
No,
I'm just
true.
saying.
That's fair. Absolutely.
It's old news. Yeah.
Sky, go
And
ahead.
how do you know that it's thorough, David? How do you know that it gave you all of the things on the list? Because you didn't know what the list was beforehand.
Well, no, I don't know
But
that.
this is like an argument about science.
Yeah,
This is an
wait.
argument.
Hold on.
Science is only up to date of what you have, and if you actually, science has to rewrite itself when information is found. The reality, and I think Tony's absolutely nailed it, is that AI or whichever language model you're using is only knowledgeable about what it knows at the time that you actually ask the question as to when it read the newspaper or when it did the information, and it's not always up to date. And I think that's exactly the reason why sometimes you have to say, am I getting the real answers? But it's just so, we have to look at this as a most amazing tool, but also most frightening tool if you think everything it says is verbatim the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
All right, I got to come to.
It just won't stand up in court.
Hold on, I have to come to Sky and then Tamara's question for Tony, but I want to answer your question real quick, Lois, and I just want to answer it by saying that. So it created for me what looks like, I'm just scanning it right now, maybe a 15-page, 10 to 15-page, briefing on this. Mm-hmm. I know enough about education that I can read, even not the whole thing, but portions of this. And I can tell you, this is fairly comprehensive, right? I'm not a Luddite in this area. So I have, and this is when I think these tools are at their best, when we know enough, as Tony said before, to call its bluff. And because I know just enough to be able to look at this and say, you know what? It's not comprehensive. It doesn't have everything, but this is a great starting point. And I got it in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Great starting point. I'm going to check a couple of those citations, and then I am going to trust it.
So here's the ultimate question for this topic. Assuming that lots of people, maybe the lower 2/3 of the pyramid, if people are using that thing, accept what's given to them, accept the first answer, don't do verification, don't do anything more. How is that going to change our society, our culture, our community? Is it anything to be worried about? Is it anything to be done about?
We'll jump
There
in.
are some things you can do about it. Go ahead, Sky.
Well, again, we talked about social interaction with society. Again, the irony that we are debating that we can't be social, and the fact that I've actually met any of you in person is a miracle, but that we are deep, close friends after 5 years of interacting, and that makes us a social entity. And we're, other than myself, we try not to interrupt each other, but the challenge I'm wondering though, Tony, is are we buying into the lie that is the Disneyland experience, that life is beautiful and what we all know the language of Disneyland. What is it? The most wonderful place on earth, or the magical
happiest
small
place.
world after all.
happiest place on earth. Again, to your point, if you say it loud enough and long enough, people will believe you.
Yes.
But what I heard from Tony's point, from Leo's point earlier, is we're interacting with a baby. That is, in software language, the beta. So as I'm constantly being reminded by my wife, is our life is in beta. She will ask me something that she asked me last week that I didn't know the information to, but I do know it this week. So for her to ask me and expect an absolute magical kingdom answer, that may be on you, Tony.
Well, it's definitely an ethical
And
issue.
I mean this with all the love in the world. I'm truly,
It's
I'm
an
challenging myself.
ethical issue. And the reason that I say that it's an ethical issue is that when you look at not just AI or anything, that if you look at what is going on with us in this world right now, it's a decline in ethics. Mm-hmm. And there is a lack of humanity, period, across the board. And that influences everything. AI, the relationships that countries have with one another. There is this decline in valuing human life, period. And so that's part of the problem. And so
again, I think
when the lies,
centuries,
when we're not in the position where we can actually have a conversation and disagree. It's you either on my side or you on the other side. That's it.
I mean, I think that's an absolutely, from where I sit in the UK, It is really tough at the moment to have a conversation with people who sit on another opposing discussion. And
Yeah.
I would argue that what you are being served as a
There you go.
as answers,
Normal.
or as well as what are you being served from AI in certain circumstances as the justification for your position, is making it really, really tough to have conversations. And the argument that's now being put forward is you cannot discuss certain areas and aspects because it's become so entrenched, and the belief of what that answer is, even though you can give empirical evidence and you can give answers and all this, it's stuck. And I think it is being driven by the fact that we have been so used to, so conditioned to say that what we see written on in some form of writing is fact. That when you see facts or things being presented to you via AI as facts, that's what we're so used to. We've been told since we were kids.
Right.
You grow up learning that what you're told on written in books is the truth. And now what
Not
that
so
truth is
much.
being presented is really, really tough.
I think it's not just what is being presented, because what is being presented has been right and wrong for forever, right? The difference with this, and this is my question to Tony and also to Leo and kind of all of us, is it that we're so upset that it hallucinates and tells us lies, or is it the fact that it tells us lies in the voice of a human? It tells us lies in the voice and personality or it tells us whatever, even when it tells us the truth. It does it in a way that is like, Tamara, I'm your friend and I have this information for you. It is that gentle. It is that kind of, that's where the lie is, right? Is that it's not like I look something up. Google has given me bad links, bad responses where I'll click on a link and I'm like, wow, that one isn't right. But if I clicked on the first link and I assumed, well, it's the first link, so it must be the most right link, and then I believed that, but there's something less human about that because I'm the one in control of clicking the link. The problem with AI in this giving us wrong information isn't that it's giving us wrong information. It's giving us wrong information in the voice of a human. And I think that's where it's more complicated.
When Google first came out, I kind of found that it only gave good answers about what computers did, and the history of computers was pretty much all it could really tell you about with any accuracy. And it didn't have enough, hadn't indexed enough of the web to give us all the other things that it would have. And there was a lot of protected information that wasn't available because it was not digitized. We are now that far into digitization that it now has an enormous, it's not an encyclopedia, it's a library. So we've gotten beyond that. And the second thing I had thought was, there's information value, and perfect isn't always useful, but useful is always acceptable. So sometimes the answer you get is useful, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exclusive. So
I'm really fascinated to hear Tony's answer to Tamara's question, because this to me is like, this is where I sit here listening to Tony forever on this.
I know, exactly.
Well, I'm just reminded of the movie Her, and how you are, or a person falls in love with a voice. And so if you are able to fall in love with a voice, not everybody would, but there are, because of the ethical things that we do to one another, and the placeholder where our lack of humanity rests, there are people who are desperate for interaction, and they may find it in an AI voice. And that AI voice, as we already know, can tell them to do things that harm themselves, right? And so the other side is that the AI can tell them to do things that are encouraging and uplifting.
Can I
But
throw,
we I have
sorry.
to.
I'm
No,
sorry. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just going to say that we have to remember that we are also in this ethical decline, and that the AI is trained in this ethical decline. So, the old saying of garbage in, garbage out. There are going to be places and situations where we're going to get some things from the AI that is just not good for us. I don't know that I answered your question, Tamara. You're going to let me know whether or not I did.
And Lois, to your question of, are we going down this slide together? I looked up who wrote Pinocchio, and it was in 1826 when all of the boys went to Pleasure Island. And so, Tony, to your point, are we going down an ethical, slide on skids quicker? Maybe, but humanity's been doing this a long time. Is my frustration.
What
But I think the answer.
I would disagree with you from this standpoint.
Please.
I think that there has been a more corruption in the way in which we think as human beings.
Sure.
Not to say that things have always been, the happiest place on earth. Definitely not that. But it seems as if, to me, as a person who's been around for 68 years, that the last 40 or so years, that things have gotten worse in the way in which we think about our relationships with human beings.
Well, you and I are the same.
And
exactly
I just will say this, that some of the horrific things that happened maybe 400 years ago, there are people who want that to come back. And they're not shy about it.
It is.
And so
it is.
There is this thing, there is this mindset that is kind of like selfish, unconcerned, and that we have to understand that is part of the training of the AI. It's a mirror of us.
I want to throw in just one comment that Dave made, and then I'm going to give it to Lois to wrap us up. Dave, you wrote in the document something that very brief that I just thought was really fascinating. I had suggested that there's a distortion that's created by AI when agreement begins to feel like truth. And then you wrote that truth is all about agreement, that what is true, and I'm not using the word fact, I'm using the word true, is true because we agree that it is true. And one of the things that I'm hearing from this discussion is that, and I'm experiencing it in my own life, is that because we are now talking less to one another, and because we are not able to interact with one another, because our morality has declined, Tony, because of all these different things, how can we ever expect to find truth?
Yeah.
Because truth is all about
ago.
agreement. And I thought that was a really profound insight. So I want to thank you for that.
I learned from a professor at the university that there's a thing called assertive ignorance that emerged in the 90s, where people thought you're just trying to make me look bad. And so they would rebel against you being smarter than them.
Yeah.
And that's a root thing of anxiety. It is it's a difficulty with the self. They're not assured of themselves. And so they have to wear the armor of I'm not stupid.
Right.
And they end up sounding stupid because they won't take facts for what they are. So
Lois, before I let you go, if I don't get Leo in, he's going to miss his flight because he's going to be
I was going to say really quickly, and the famous quote is Oceania was at war with East Asia, and Oceania has always been at war with East Asia.
Yeah. Lois, take us home.
All right. So wrapping up, that's wrapping us all in ourselves. I bring to our attention that we, those of us on this panel, are all people who have had lots of good things happen in our life. And I know when I grew up, I guess I would call myself a little bit of a Pollyanna. And I always expected the best of people. Nowadays, it's really hard to expect the best of people when you see some of the worst of people. But this whole AI question, it's going to give us answers. And if everybody assumes the answer is correct, then everybody will agree. And then we will have truth because we will be in agreement. So, this is a topic that's never going to end, never.
Is that an invitation to that we're gonna have to continue this?
Should come back.
We will, of course. I'm also very excited to pick up the conversation about higher education, which of course is directly linked to what we're talking about here. So we will do that. Leo, safe travels. We'll see you in California. Enjoy your tour. What are you coming in for, by the way?
To meet people from office hours.
Okay, there you go.
And drive the Pacific Highway. That's it.
Wow.
I'm just doing north
And we
to south.
opened it up for you, so you can go all the way down.
Yeah, you opened up Big Sur. That's it. 2 years, 2 years of closing. Although the hamburger joint I went to burnt down, didn't it? So I'm not going there.
In and out. You can still go to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah. Well, I was going to go to the one that's in American Graffiti, but it burned down.
If you look up Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, there's a list of all the places that he has gone,
so much.
and you can go to those places.
I won't. I
thank
don't
you,
eat
Lois.
anything that he features in those shows, but I love those shows so much. Everyone, I'm so glad that you all were able to join us tonight and be a part of this conversation. Thank you for joining us. Join us tomorrow morning on another episode of Office Hours with your questions. And of course, tomorrow afternoon, we will be in the kitchen on Zoom Test Kitchen. Until next week, we'll see you soon. Have a lovely rest of the weekend, everyone. Bye.